Hi, I'm here today with Brenda Novak, and we're here at Romantic Times Convention in Los Angeles. And Brenda, I have a few questions for you. Tell me about what prompted you to become a writer.
Well, actually, I'm not like most writers who have dreamed of doing this job my whole life. I didn't have stories running around in my head that you hear so many people talk about. I caught my daycare provider drugging my children with cough syrup and Tylenol to get them to sleep all day while I worked as a loan officer. And when I found that out, it really destroyed my trust, because this was somebody that was a good friend of our family, and it came into our home and it spent a lot of time with us other than work hours. So I was really hurt, that she would do something that would endanger my children. And I thought, if I can't trust her, I can't trust anybody. So I quit my job to stay home with my kids, but my husband was in a situation where he's an entrepreneur. So sometimes he takes really big risks and they don't always pay off. And this was one he took that didn't work. And so we were losing our business, we were losing our house, we were losing everything. And I had three at the time, I have five now. Yeah. Had these three little kids at home that I was thinking I can't leave. So it's kind of like somebody threw me into the deep end of a pool, but my hands were tied, I couldn't swim. I'm thinking, what am I going to do? So I had to do something from home, and I was reading a really good book. It was Jude Devereaux's Knight in Shining Armor. And it swept me away from this sort of upsetting time, and I thought, I wonder if I could do something like this. And then once I started, it was as if I found the one thing I felt I was destined to do my whole life, so sort of the silver lining to a dark time.
Oh, well, often it seems like when we're at our bottom is when we find exactly where we need to be. It's kind of, I think it lets us resurface,
Yeah, it does, and it sort of funneled me in the direction that I should have been going, and I don't know if I would have found it otherwise. I really did just live to sort of augment what my husband did and raise my family, and this completely changed up, my whole life.
And what made you decide to do romantic suspense?
Well, that probably because I wanted to kill the lady that drugged my children. No, I'm just kidding. I just always really
came from the heart.
Yeah, exactly. It came from the heart. I actually have just always had this really strong interest in criminal behavior, because it's so self-defeating. So it's not as if you can kill somebody and have it not affect you. And so I'm thinking, I don't understand the psychology behind it totally, but I'm fascinated by it because it doesn't make sense. It's illogical in many ways. So, it's just been a lifelong study of mine, is what makes people do some of the things they do that end up destroying themselves in the process. Even if they don't get caught, I think it destroys you to act that way. So it's just an interesting phenomenon to me. And so in writing romantic suspense, I'm able to sort of explore the criminal mind and motivations and what happens when these things occur, the ripples that fan out from there, and it's just been something that's really been interesting to me.
And then one thing I wanted to ask you about was, you actually have a cause that's near and dear to my heart, and that is Diabetes Research Foundation.
Yes, actually my son was diagnosed with diabetes at 5, and that was sort of like another crisis in my life that I figured what I wanted to do was find the silver lining there as well. So I wanted to fight back, but I had so many little kids, and I didn't have any resources, and I didn't have any time. I was just launching my writing career for the most part. I hadn't gotten far enough into it that I felt like I had much to give back with. But then I went to this silent auction for my son's elementary school, and I thought, there's got to be a better way to do this, because they had done a great job, but we didn't get that big of a turnout that night. And so all the donors who had given stuff, they didn't get the PR value they were in it for, and the school didn't make that much money. And I remember just looking at everything thinking, this is a shame, that this didn't come off a little bit better. And then the light bulb went on in my head, and I went, oh my gosh, I've been scouring my brain, praying, trying to figure out some way that I can do something to raise money for diabetes research. And I thought, what if I did something like this, but on my website, where I've already established a certain amount of traffic flow.
Following.
So I thought I could utilize the following that I've created with my books to help me raise money for diabetes research, and the response has been tremendous. We've already raised over $1 million, thanks to, it's a community effort. It's the entire writing community, mostly the romance community, that has really been the engine behind it. And so between readers and authors and publishing people that are in our genre, it's just been amazing. I've been very touched by the support and how successful it's been. We set a new record every year so far, knock on wood. We have one coming up May 1st, so I'm really hopeful that that one goes well too.
Yeah. Well, I think it's really exciting. I'm involved in your auction, so yeah.
Thank you.
And with losing my brother to diabetes-related things, definitely it's a great cause. And now, and I'll let you give a plug here. So so they can go to your website and find out
Yes.
all the information about it.
Actually, if they would go there, BrendaNovak.com has a link that says auction right there at the top, and they can register, and that enables me to be able to make contact to give them instructions and tips about what's coming up. And so if they do that this month in April, they'll be all set for when it goes live May 1st, although they can register after May 2 if they want to come in on it late. They just may miss a few things that's already been auctioned off that were cool.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you so much. And then I wanted to find out if you have anything new and exciting in the works, any new series happening.
I actually have a new trilogy that'll be coming out from Mira Books this summer. The first book comes out June 28th, and it's called Inside. And as you might have guessed from the title, it's a prison story. It was inspired by Prison Break. I don't get to watch much TV, but so I missed that whole thing, the big phenomenon. And then my daughter kept telling me, Mom, you would love this, you would love this. You know, I bought the first season, you got to come watch it. So I went to Utah to do some writing. I was behind, and that's where she lived. And so that's what we would do at night, is we'd put that in, and I was swept away. I thought the writing was so fabulous. The plotting was fabulous. The characterization was fabulous. But the romance, they made it a very small part of the whole picture, and I wanted more. So I thought, you know what, darn it, I'm going to write my own. So I did, and so this is a romance set against the high stakes, you know, a little bit of a gritty backdrop of a prison setting. And I really feel like it turned out well. I'm excited about it. And then it'll be followed by In Seconds, which comes out 2 months later, so that'll be out the very end of August. And then In Close, which will be the end of October.
Perfect. Always looking for a new trilogy to take in. So
Yeah. No, I think this one turned out well. I'm excited about it.
Perfect. Well, and then one more question. I always like to ask authors, in your series, do you have a particular character that you really identify with, or that is your favorite?
Yeah, you know, actually it's interesting that you asked, because my favorite is Virgil, the hero of this next book. I think even my editor agrees that he's probably my strongest hero. He's a very flawed hero because of what he's been through. He served 14 years in prison for a crime he didn't commit. When the story opens, he's just been exonerated. But the Department of Corrections has something that pressures him to have to go back in, because he's so seasoned and he comes off so believable. They want him to figure out what's going on inside this other gang that's sort of taking over another maximum security prison. So that's kind of forces his hand in order to get safety for himself and his sister from the gang that he joined to survive originally. So there's just something about this hero where he still maintains honor and dignity amidst everything that's happened to him, and it just makes it, and yet he's still real within the context of what happened to him. I mean, he's not, you know, different than what somebody would be like after having been through that. So I just really felt like he came together well, and both my editor and I think that you know, he's our favorite hero so far.
Oh, it sounds really exciting. I mean, it's got all the, you know, all the action and everything we're looking for, and then
it's got it all.
And enough romance to hold us all.
Very passionate romance. So,
perfect.
Yeah.
All right, well, I look forward to it.
Thanks.
And I just want to thank you so much for, granting me this interview, and it's a pleasure.
It's been wonderful. You've done a great job.
We'll keep in touch with you and find out all the things new that are going on, and definitely get some more people over to your auction.
Great.
So,
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.